Hershey and Keegs Show.
Welcome to Hershey and the Keegs Show, starring pitcher Mark Hirschman and his personal catcher, Mike Keegan. Every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. live from the Governor's Comedy Club radio studio. Thanks so much for listening.
Hello, it is Tuesday night, 9 p.m. It is the Hershey and the Keegs Show. We're going to have some fun. It's that show. We make you feel good from your pits to your bits. Mm-hmm. How about that? And we're gonna have a good one.
How do your bits feel today? A little snowy
Phenomenal.
out?
Yeah, a little chilly, though.
Your bits are okay?
Yeah, a little
I think it's like there's a little extra panache to tonight's show because it's snowing out. We're all cuddled up.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, we're all warm. We have our demolition specialist merch.
I got my demolition specialist hoodie on.
You look adorable. Of course, we have our very special guest who we're honored to have. We have Scott Advapsky from Demolition Specialists. We're going to spend an hour with him. Before we do that, we're going to do what we do every single week, which is we're going to hit our first set of sponsorships. And what do you know? Ironically, our first sponsor is Demolition Specialists.
What do you know?
What about that? Demolition Specialists, 1-855-RIP-OUTS, the number you call for demolition, dumpsters, and fence rental. Family owned and operated for over 30 years, they are a fully licensed demolition contractor. We have Angela's Bra Boutique at 223 Main Street in Farmingdale, 516-249-6509. Personalized bra fittings providing a wide selection of brands, sizes, and styles. And if you mention Hershey and the Keegs Show, you get 10% off your purchase. Triple M Professional Painting and Construction, 516-395-6390. Family owned and operated for over 35 years. Call for your free estimate today and ask for James. And then we have Sunray Services. Now is the best time to convert to hybrid heating and cooling. Call them today at 631-231-5533 or visit them online at www.sunrayservices.com. And now, now for the main feature that we've all been waiting for, and we've been excited like little schoolgirls for the past week or two with this guest. We have not only a dear friend of mine, but a friend of many in Levittown, business tycoon, friend, father, husband, you name it. He's a wonderful guy, and I am very happy to welcome my friend Scott Advapsky to the show. Everybody,
hello, Scott. Thank you for coming in, sir.
Now, obviously, there's not just because we love Scott, not just because he's the demo guy, but I
thought it was just because we love him.
Just because we love him? The reason that we decided to have Scott on today, out of all days, is that yesterday was the 25th anniversary to the day of Scotty's sobriety.
Excellent.
So first and foremost,
God bless.
Thank you.
Congratulations, brother. You know, I told you this when I saw you over the weekend. I'm proud of you. Everyone who loves you is proud of you. It's been 9,125 days. If I went back in time to the first day, did you think you'd be here today?
Absolutely not.
No.
No way.
No shot.
No shot.
Has it been every day that it's obviously been a battle to get to this point, or I'm sure it's gotten a lot easier since the first day, but if I can bring you back to that day 25 years ago, what was your head like? Where was your headspace?
I ended up being homeless on a park bench, and I just couldn't stay outside anymore, and I had to make a change. You know, I wasn't dying, I wasn't living, and I had to make a decision to change my life, you know.
And how'd you get to that place? You didn't grow up destitute. You were a kid, well-loved kid, growing up in Levittown. How'd you wind up in the bad place that you wound up?
Well, yes, I was well-loved as a kid, but, you know, I lost my mother at 13 years old, and that's a very hard part of my life. And my father trying to keep the roof on the house, you know, trying to keep the lights on, to keep the 3 kids fed. I was 13, my sister was 6, my younger sister was 6, and my older sister was 16. And my dad was left with the 3 kids. My mother was 39 when she passed. and of cancer, and I had to, that was the beginning of a big problem for me.
Now, obviously, you've been in, I guess, recovery is the word that you use for 25 years now. Was there a point where you would say, well, the reason why I became this person living on a park bench was because I lost my mother at 13? Was that a crutch for you?
No, the reason why I ended up on a park bench was because of drugs, and I burnt every bridge that I possibly could cross in my teenage years, and that's what drugs. That's where drugs brought me.
But were the drugs an after product of the fact that you were a 13-year-old boy without a mother? Do you?
Yes, as far as I know, I've been to a lot of psychologists. During school, I had a lot of issues as a young teenager, and every time I went to, they send me to all these. I just had a lot of problems in school, and I believe it was all from my mother. I'm not making excuses or anything. I just didn't. I don't really know, but all I know is I had a lot of problems after she passed, and then they sent me to a whole bunch of psychologists, and then they trying to figure out what it was, and everyone said it's because of your mother, and then every single person I went and saw, I asked them if they had a mother, and then they said yes, and I said, well, you don't know how I feel, and you don't know how I feel. You don't know how to feel if you weren't in the same position as I was in, Yeah. And I'm a true believer in that. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want somebody lecturing you and analyzing you that hasn't been through what
100%.
So your dad, he's a widow at a very young age.
Widower.
He's taking care of widower. That is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Thank you for that. Thank you.
You're
At a young age, he's taking care of multiple kids. Was he the type of guy who was able to try to embrace you and fix you, or it was beyond what he was capable of doing?
Listen, I love my dad dearly. It's hard to talk about him because I just lost him.
Yeah.
Again, I
Jack
don't want to
was
be a Jerry. I don't want to be a Jerry Maguire crying on the air.
No, I knew your father. He was a great guy, and you can cry all you want.
I just lost my dad, which basically that was my parents. I just lost again, if you think about it, because he was both.
mother and father.
He was everything. He was everything to me. It's all I had known for my whole adult life.
Yeah.
But I give him not the utmost respect for what he's done. I could, us as fathers, right? Imagine your wife passing away and having to take care of your 3 kids, 4, whatever kids you have.
Yeah.
So I do give my dad the utmost respect for staying with us. I don't want to say sticking it out. But it's I don't know. He had to work from 9 to 9, every single day, to pay for his 3 kids to eat and to keep the roof on the house, because he lost all the money with the cancer bills.
Yeah.
And he can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? He can only do so much. What is he going to do when he's working? We're at home alone.
Yeah.
And I just got myself into massive mischief,
Yeah. So it's interesting. There's a lot of reasons why I love you. Obviously our kids are close and we have a lot of commonalities, but you loved your dad the way I loved my dad. And I loved how in recent years I would see your dad driving around on one of the sports cars you bought him, and your dad would be driving in the Levittown parade in some macked out little, $50,000. Yeah. So
love the Shelby.
How satisfying was that for you to be able to give your dad that kind of life in his later years? Once all your hard work and it all paid off, how satisfying was it to give him that kind of joy in his life?
I just want to say, Mark, awesome question, man. Really, because that's really what it was about. I'll give you, for instance, I took a lot. I took a lot from my dad. I stole. I did a lot of stuff. And my first birthday in recovery, I had to make it. I wanted to make an amends to my dad, and I asked him. I said, long story short, my house actually ended up getting robbed my first year in recovery, and they took a stereo system. Back in the day when we used to have those stereo systems, like that big rack, display. Maybe not even cassette.
No, it's tape. No, it's probably tape and like
cassette,
record player, and
that got stolen out of my room. My first year in recovery, and I used to be the person that was stealing, and now I got stolen from. And me and my dad were walking at the Hicksville shopping center. I forget the name, over on Old Country Road and Newbridge. It's not the point, but we were in that shopping center in the corner there by Chuck and Cheese.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Delco shopping center.
Delco, yeah, Chuck E. Cheese and the pet place. And
I pulled my father over. He said, "Come on, we're gonna go get you a radio. We're gonna go get you a stereo. I know how much it meant to you. And I pulled him on the side. I said, Dad, listen, I don't need it. I'm good. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For what I've done to you. He's like, I don't know what else I could do to pay you back for what I've done to you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he's like, you're paid in full. That was one of the best moments in my recovery, and that was so early in recovery.
Right.
Yeah. And let me tell you, my father was extremely proud of me, and that's huge.
Yeah.
That is absolutely tremendous. I mean, our relationship from that point on was just unbelievable. Like, I couldn't do no wrong with him, and we became very good friends,
Yeah.
I wish we were even better friends, you don't take for granted your family, man, because the one minute they're here, the next minute they're gone.
Well, I definitely got to spend some time with him, and I got to meet him, and I remember it's not too difficult to make me cry, but the Levittown parade every year when I would see him, and he would just be the happiest guy in one of these fancy little cars. Scott has several different ones, and he was just not just proud of the car, but he was proud of his boy that got him that car. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then there was it like a little yellow convertible he would drive around, also a little yellow sports car you bought him. There was definitely a sports car.
Well, I've had
no, but in recent years there was a yellow sports car. There was definitely yellow, orange.
He's been in the Shelby Cobra was the yellow one that he always drove. Yeah. And then any other cars that I bought throughout the years, there's been many. I've been very fortunate in recovery, thank God.
Yeah. So, I think we would be remiss. I mean, 25 years in recovery, and 23 of those, 2 years into your recovery, I think approximately is when you started dating Lori, who is your wife for all these years, the mother of your 3 kids. How significant do you think that she has played a role in the last 23 years of your recovery?
We were having a good conversation here. Now you got to bring this up.
Because, because it's.
I'm only kidding, Lori.
It's an everyday battle. I know you told me that.
You know how it is when you're married. But honestly, listen, I was writing addresses down on paper plates. We skipped a little bit. You don't realize how I started my company, but I was writing addresses on paper plates, holding money in my sock, and going to work. And she brought me up to another level. She put the office together. And we've had our trials and tribulations throughout the years, But for backing my recovery, if you want to, stick on the recovery end of it, she's there for me 100%, she might have been a normal earthling. She might have went out and had a drink and this and that, whatever, and maybe did stupid, very little bit minor other stuff, if that. Not smoke a joint, what the hell? Yeah. You know what I mean? And she would never do it around me. She totally respected my recovery, and she also became a mother, and she said, I'll never do that in front of my kids, which I do highly respect her for that. I do. She holds strong to that,
And I don't even know if I had a chance to tell Mike and Tony about this in our pre-production meeting, but to this day, you frequently go out to meetings and you speak to people, not just young people your age and older. I'm always curious that when you go out to these meetings and you see young people in the audience. Now, you have a 19-year-old, an 18-year-old, and as of today, Maxie is 17. Happy birthday, Max.
Yes, happy birthday, Max.
3 wonderful kids, and he's just he's a sweet boy like my Max XX. Happy birthday, pal. When you're in those meetings and you're talking to people and you see young people, do you ever think like those can be my babies right there? Does that impact you when you're talking to these people?
Yes, majorly. It's a major concern of mine. I'm blessed that I have all the recovery that I do, and I'm blessed that I believe my kids are on the straight and narrow. And thank God for that, because if I even got an eighth of what I was, or an eighth of 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 what I was, I would be in a lot of trouble. I hope I never have to deal with this in my life. And for anybody out there that is struggling with their kids, there is programs all over the county, all over the world that you could go to and get help to help your kids. And it's very important that you do that. I'm not a father of kids that are using, as far as I know. So I'm a true believer of being, I speak what I believe, and I believe what I speak. I don't tell you how to take care of your kid, because I'm not taking care of my kid on drugs. But there is programs out there for you guys.
He's talking to you, Mike.
I think he keeps looking at me.
Well, he sees your little beady eyes, like little red mice.
Yeah. Listen, you got to want recovery. It's plain and simple. It's a simple program for stupid people. And, it really is easy. It's a day at a time. I had 9,000 days. I have a time counter. I didn't do it today, but I do have a time counter on my phone. I couldn't put together 9 seconds, and I quit every single night after my big binge every night, and the next morning I was using again. It was just unbelievable. But you got to want it. Once I made that decision to turn my life and my will and life over to God, and I'm not religious in any way. I was born. I'm Jewish. I was forced to go to temple for a bar mitzvah at Levittown Israel Community
That's
Center.
why he's here tonight. That's the only reason why he's here.
I'm very proud to be Jewish, but I met God in a church basement at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting.
Well, that's where he works. That's where he works.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it completely changed my life. But I wanted it because there was nothing left on the other side for me. You have to want it. You can't force it. I have I get phone calls all the time from a lot of people. Help my son, help my son. Help my daughter, help my daughter. Help my husband, help my husband. I say, meet me at a meeting at this time. Well, could you pick them up? I said, no. You have to meet us at the meeting, just like you would meet your drug dealer, just like you would go get alcohol.
Yeah. That's the thing that's hard, is there's so many people that are just functioning and they won't realize, and then you try to bring it to their attention and they don't think that they do have a problem, but they do. But they're still able to function, and they're like, I don't need it. That's the hardest thing. Somebody that you love.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm gonna do this
Mark.
to you a few times. You love me? Thank you.
I love you.
I'm gonna do this to you a few times during the show because I do my research, and certainly that I spoke to Shelby, to Max, and to Maddie, in preparation for today, and it's going to get me choked up. Our dad is the best dad ever, and we are very proud to have him in our lives. And those kids, there's nothing better. There's nothing better in life than your kids saying that you're a good dad. I don't want nothing else for myself than to my kids to be proud. And you have that. Your kids are absolutely head over heels crazy for you. And
you'll have that one day, Mark.
One day I'm going to strive for it. I'm going to strive for it. It's all I ever wanted. I was very close with my dad, and certainly I wanted to be a great son, and I hope I was, and you definitely were for your dad. But your kids are definitely, you did right there. You know what I mean? So whether that was because you got clean, and then you met Lori, and then you guys together forged this, but you've made such a change, in so many lives. I guess I'm always curious. Do you have a fear that one of your kids is going to have a gene or a trait or anything? Is that something that you battle in your mind, that you're worried that they're going to have that part of you that will make them want to use?
Listen, it's. Thank you for saying that, and believe me, when you're looking out of your window to somebody else's window, you don't know what's going on in their house.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so happy that my kids are proud of me that they said that. And
Yeah.
it means so much to me, you know what I mean? But on the other hand, you know, I wanted for everything as a kid. Meanwhile, I had everything other than a mother. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I strive to do my business the way that I do it, and I try to be the best in my industry, and that's why I try to provide for my family. I will never say no to my kids. You know, I get them what they need. I get them a little extra.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I like, you know, that you said that. But listen, when we first went out to dinner in Cedarhurst, was one of our first dinners together, right? 20 years ago, probably, right? 8, 9, no, well, how old's Max?
My Max is 14. Yours
All right,
is 17.
so 14 years ago was one of our first dinners. We went out to Cedarhurst, and Max almost took the restaurant down. So I said he's going to be working for me one day. That would be your Max.
I'd say that's probably
And
true.
we just all walked in, was chasing him around the whole restaurant.
That's right.
He's still
But
doing
listen, man, we just had a Super Bowl party at my house. Max is a good kid, man. I'm
Yeah.
happy, man. You know, like he really grew up to himself, you know. So everybody, you know, like you're saying, you know, I would hope to have that. You do have that, you know.
I
Your kids
appreciate
are
it.
awesome, dude, you know.
Thank
You
you.
do, you do
Listen,
have great kids.
I got to tell you, it's not just about my kids or more kids. Levittown's killing it.
Yeah.
You know, we have such a good group of parents, and the friends that I have from my kids, I could never pay for in millions of years. You know, I can't believe the groups that we have, and I'm not just saying this because a lot of people are listening live, and I know a lot
Yeah.
of people are listening. But I could trust my kids at any one of our friends' houses.
That's right.
Vice versa.
Yeah.
You know, what is that worth? You know what I mean? Levittown went a long way, man. I'm proud to be at Levittown. You know, Levittown.
Yeah. Born and raised.
Born
yeah.
and raised in
Absolute
Levittown, 54
product.
years. You know,
Sure.
I was just at a community meeting just before this, telling them, you know, I've been here my whole life.
Yeah.
I love Levittown. It's just we are very lucky, you know, on that point. You know, I probably just missed part of your question, but I'm just saying.
No,
like,
no.
you know-
Well, it's funny. I'm going to segue into something because you just hit on it. You were talking about the kids and how you care about other people's kids. Well, one of the people I reached out to, you're very close with the Banfitch family, Jen and Anthony and the kids, and you know what they had told me. Scott's a very generous person. He would give us the shirt off his back. He actually gave us all the shirt off his
Literally
back.
gave me the shirt off his back tonight.
We
Yeah.
have 3 of them on right now.
He gave me his
and
underwear too.
he,
It was really nice of him.
I love this quote that Jennifer had said, though. He loves all of his kids' friends like his own, and he wants them genuinely to succeed. You know what? That really, like, I have a lot of different preparation I did for this show today, and that line said a lot because certainly, you know, to not be selfish and only worry about your own, but you are always looking out for other kids. And, you know, any given time I'll walk into your house and there'll be kids there. I don't even know if you know they're there. I don't even know if the parents know they're there. And you're just like on the couch or in the kitchen, and it's just like it's like a safe space that you and Lori have put there for, you know, for these kids. And I think that's a testament. And I always think, like, I wonder if this is just, you know, it's just Scott's way of giving back to, you know, from where he came
crazy.
to where he is.
Dude, you are so dead on, bro. It's insane. It really is, Mark. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Listen, I just want to say something. Shout out to Matt Banfitch. He got his Nassau County.
Oh my God,
his
dude! I
Nassau
just saw
County
that.
bowling champion. I'm so proud of that kid. You know, he's.
It's ridiculous.
I love Matt. I love Matt. I love the Banfitch family. You know, I really do.
the
And I
aces.
thank you guys for you know, commenting on me and.
Yeah.
But I'm so proud of that kid. You know, like he found something that he enjoys, and he totally excelled in it. I'm very, very proud of him. I would have been there, but you can't sit in the bowling alley because there's no room.
That's right.
You know,
There's no
it's
room.
horrible. And I said it. I went to one. I just couldn't sit. The people couldn't see past me because of my fatigue. Is that what you
know,
call it? So they couldn't see past me, so I had to walk out.
Jen had posted, and I couldn't believe it really
Yeah.
before the show, but this is a 17, 18-year-old kid, and his scores were 269, 277.
Yep.
Like, this is not like a high
I
school,
think
like,
he bowled like a 233. I'm not really
Yeah,
sure.
it was
My
a lot.
father was the sickest bowler, and he knows
Yeah.
all the stats. I wish my father's listening. I truly
he's listening.
believe.
There's no doubt he's listening. But
But-
yeah, Matthew Banfitch, who's a great kid with great parents, great siblings, and congratulations to the family for sure.
So
no doubt.
To go back to that with the kids, like why do I do that? I do that for a reason, and there is a what do you say, an MO?
Yeah, there's a method to your madness for sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean. There is a reason because I was a very troubled teenager. I'm not gonna. I'll tell you straight out. Thank you. Straight out. I mean it. Listen, I don't want to say everything. It's not about what I did. It's about what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't talk about my war stories very rarely. All right? I was a very bad kid. I'm going to keep it at that.
Yeah.
All right? So I had a lot of problems. And all the kids and their parents never wanted their kids around me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny how it changed because now all those parents are calling me to help their kids because they're still on their couch smoking weed and doing drugs.
Yeah.
So I'm the guy they're calling now, but I was the person that they never would let in the house. I was a really bad, misdirected kid. I wasn't shooting people. I wasn't shooting drugs. I wasn't, but I was a very misdirected teenager. I guess I had a lot of problems from, losing my mom.
Sure.
Listen, a million excuses, not one good reason. I don't know what it was, but I got to look about what I did to change my life. If I go back to that dark space in my life, it's not a good place.
What is the expression? It's not about the loss, it's the comeback. What is that?
It's about not how many times you get knocked down. It's
That's
how many
Rocky
times.
Balboa.
How many times you get back up?
I knew it, Rock. I knew it, you tomato.
Rocky Balboa.
I knew
That's
it.
Rocky.
I knew you'd
love
do
that
it. You
saying.
always
I
have
say
that
it all the time.
You had that in the holster
And
ready
you
to
didn't
go.
hear no bell.
But honestly, I don't. I'm not a war story guy. You know, I could tell you stories of of running for drugs through Brooklyn, Queens. I gave you stories that you guys would just start hysterical crying right now. I don't go on that. I go on my recovery. I would go on how I built my life, how I built my business. Listen, I'm very proud of my business, but I kind of took it out of the equation now. It is what it is. I'm Scott Demo, not Scott Advapsky, by the way.
Right.
And my name's a tough name to pronounce.
And Scott Demo sounds
everyone
less
knows
Jewish,
me Scott
too.
Demo. They don't know me Scott Advapsky, so you're
Scott
letting out
Demowitz?
some. Yeah. But I listen. My business is my business. I work very hard. No one gave me nothing. I started from. I started from nothing.
What made you get into the business?
So there was two neighbors on my block. When I was 13 years old, it's the only job that I ever had. They asked me to come help them clean up garbage. Yeah. Their father ran a dump. And fast forward, I used to go to clean up garbage with them. They were called B&F cleanups. And a shout out to them, Bobby and Frankie, if they ever hear this. And
B&F.
They really did start my career. Their father, who I love dearly, was a very big inspiration in my life. He helped me build a lot of my business. Their father, Bob, he passed away not that long, a little while back. He was he was always helped my family. He lived on my block. They were the family on my block. And we used to do cleanups together. And when they were becoming 16 and 17, because they were brothers, they were a year apart, their father was telling them they had to go to college. Meanwhile, the phone was ringing. And I said, this is crazy. I go, there's a lot of work out there.
Work to be done.
And I was 16 years old when I bought my first truck for $50. I drove without a license and insurance. I'm going to tell you how it is. And I had a partner at the time. It was called my partner, Steve, and it was called Scott and Steve's Quality Cleanup Service. And we were picking up garbage. We were loading 10 yards of garbage for $300 from a job site that a contractor would rip out and throw it on the ground. Fast forward, you can imagine what happened from then on in. I got, totally hooked on drugs. Someone introduced me to the spoon. I cooked my first batch of cocaine, ended up smoking crack. Crack wasn't out when I started. It was freebase. And I chased that drug for 17 years. And then, you could imagine, I'll just tell you quick, 110 unpaid tickets, 10 felony warrants. I was wanted from here to Queens and Brooklyn and back 10 times over. Cops were at my house every single day with binoculars looking for me. I mean, all true stories. Yeah. That's how bad it got for me. They were looking to give me 1 to 3 to 4 years in jail, and I just kept running. I ran for him for years, and then finally I surrendered, to the disease of addiction, and I asked my father for help. I went into a rehab, and then I got out in 30 days. I got out in 30 days. It was a 90-day rehab. I got kicked out for hiding candy in my bed. They said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to make a meeting." I made meetings all day long. But what I was trying to get at, so when I got out of rehab, I got out early. My father said, "No way, you're going back." And I said, "Dad, I'm okay." I went and got a job. I was helping my friend install carpets, my buddy Jim Tatum, and I was installing carpets. I made $1,500. I ended up buying a dump truck for $1,500. Never looked back.
Wow.
I've never relapsed.
I was gonna say that one stint in rehab and never.
One time.
Yeah.
When I worked the program of Narcotics Anonymous, when I truly worked the program, not Scott's program, I've never relapsed. No. It works. They say any addict seeking recovery may never die. That's what it says on all of our coins. But it also says if you truly work in the program, you will not relapse. And it's the truth.
Yeah.
You have to truly work that program. I mean, I was at 3 meetings a day. You know, I truly have not done a drink or a drug other than one mistake of a beer at my neighbor James's house. That was a mistake because I opened up and thought it was
What
a
a
Pepsi.
surprise.
I did
Other
that
than
to a
that,
friend
I
of
just
mine.
did it. Yeah, I just did it.
One time we were at my buddy's
a couple
house.
years ago. Yeah.
And this is when hard seltzers first came out, and I thought we were drinking seltzer. I gave my buddy Jim 3 hard seltzers,
Yeah.
and he's like, "You know, there's alcohol in this." He's like, "I haven't drank in 5 years."
So, but that is the truth. You know, I'm not sitting here telling you that I'm clean, and I'm not. I am 100% clean. I don't want to take anything anytime I do. I don't even want to take a Bayer if I don't have to. You know, I will. If a doctor tells me to take it, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
That's legit, you know.
All right, hold that because
Yep.
I'm gonna go through a couple more sponsors, and I have a question to start the second sequence with. You ready, Tone?
Yep.
We're going to start with American Restoration Solutions. You got it? American Restoration Solutions. When disaster strikes, they'll guide you to recovery. Call 516-662-9377 and ask for Senior Account Manager Keith Dunn. New View Construction, speaking of the Banfitch family, established in 2007. They are the people to call for the finest craftsmanship and all of your general contracting needs. Call 516-924-5627 and do it with confidence. We have Sip and Serve waitress and bartending service. Close your ears, Scott. I'll elevate your next private party with Sip and Serve Squad. Their awesome bar and wait staff will ensure your event will be unforgettable. Book now and let them handle the details while you enjoy the celebration. Call Jen at 516-528-6783. And then last but not least, the beautiful New York State licensed real estate person, Diane Keegan
Oh, we
from
know her.
Allen Estates Realty Corporation.
That's my
You can
mom.
call Diane directly at 516-458-1864 or email her at diane@allislandestates.com. If you're looking to rent, sell, or buy, make Diane your first call. Thank you to all of our sponsors, especially Demolition Specialists today, of course.
Thank you.
Scotty, you said you chased for 17 years. Do you ever take a second, or did you ever take a second at any point to look back at all the people that didn't get through 1 year, 5 years, 17 years, that you made it? What do you ever think like, wow, I'm lucky. I don't know what it was. It was my mother looking above. Why do you think you made it? Why do you think that you were to get through all the hell that you went through?
All right, so they say 1 out of 1,000 addicts make it. Those are the statistics, and I know it's horrible. You know, what kept me alive to get into recovery, to find my path in recovery, I truly believe my mother. She was a tough one. She was, I always say, she was a truck driver without a CDL license. She had a mouth that, I can't even believe I really haven't cursed this whole thing, but she was something else, and she was very tough. You could never touch her family, never talk about her family. She was very well liked, very well known in the community, and I always said, it's my mother. You know, she's up there saying, don't take my son. He's going to change people's lives, you know. Listen, when I first got into recovery, I raised my hand and said, I got my second truck. When I first got in recovery, I said, I just bought my 4th truck. You know, I just bought my 8th truck. You know what I'm saying? It's not about any of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I kind of grew up in recovery. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about what I have. It's about the quality of life that I live. you know. And I still have problems. Everybody has problems. I am far from perfect, but I do the best of my ability. You know what I mean? But I do truly believe that my mother was up there fighting for me, you know, definitely. I have to believe that, because if not, like, you know, I go crazy. You know, listen, I'm 54 years old, and I miss my mother more today than I do when I was 13. We were very, very, very close, extremely close, like inseparable, you know. And it's hard. Listen, we all have problems. You know what I mean? Everybody has problems. It's just how you're dealing with them, you know? You know, a lot of people lost their mother. A lot of people lost both their parents. A lot, you know, there's a million reasons why I want to smoke crack today. Really. But there's not, no, sorry. Let me rephrase that. There's a million excuses why I want to get high today, but not one good reason, you know? And that's where you got to do it. You know, I got to live my life every single day. You know, I want to leave something for my kids. I want my kids to remember their father. That, you know, listen, I think I am I'm an addict. I'm a massive addict, but I don't use drugs, but I use other things. You know, one is never enough. One
ATVs
is not enough,
and cars,
1,000 is never enough. You know,
So
I have issues. Trust me, I'm sick and suffering. All right, but I'm not using drugs today. That's for sure. You know, and I'm trying to leave my kids a legacy, you know, leave my family a legacy. I'm trying to do it for them, you know, and myself. I want to live, you know, because I lived in that prison for years.
Well, you're going to live for a long time, God willing, and you have a lot to give. And your legacy's already left. Your kids feel your heart, your goodness. So that's there. That's already built. That'll never change. That's just the way it is. Everyone who cares about you knows that. The one thing that I've always been impressed since we became friends, and yes, you have two beautiful homes and cars and things like that, but it's the humility. I never feel a flashy, obnoxious, in your face. It's always like, I'm doing these things so I can help other people, not just my family. I know that when I was talking to the Harringtons, and they wrote something that was really just so perfect. Scott likes to see people around him enjoying life, and he'll do whatever he thinks will allow people to have fun. And that's just, they didn't categorize it as Max, Shelby, Maddie, Lori, but it was the people, you know, when they go to your home, your vacation home, you get an extra joy out of seeing other people happy that most people do. And again, to me, it always brings me back. Is that because of where he came from? That he just wants to be able to give back when he has something, because there was a time when he had nothing.
Yes, 100%. And again, I don't like talking about the stuff that I have. And, you know, upstate to me is very, 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 very special. You know, it's heaven. Plain and simple, it's heaven. You know, I love to see families come up and, you know, and do what I love that they love. You know, ride ATVs.
Well,
and,
you teach people what you love, and then they love it.
You know,
yeah,
it's just unbelievable. Words doesn't even do it enough. You know what I mean? You have to come and see it. You know, I invite everybody. It doesn't bother me. I just ask for respect for my family. I love seeing my kids. There was never a time that I've ever taught my, you know, if my kids had an ATV, it wasn't their ATV. You know what I mean? My son likes to say that's this one and this one and this one, but we share everything. You know what I'm saying? There's never, this is mine. We don't teach that around. I don't believe in that, because as a kid, I could never have anything. You know, so there's one kid, I'll tell you how it is. There's one kid in Levittown, right across the street from Northside. His parents bought him a Honda Odyssey, 350 Honda Odyssey. It's one of the first UTVs ever made. He wouldn't let anyone ride that. Where do you think I own one of those machines now? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's sitting in my garage. And for Sean Ryan, beat it. He ain't riding it. You understand? But I bought that machine. You know what I mean? Because he wouldn't let us ride it. You know what I'm saying? Everything what's mine is yours. You know, I got a lot of cars. I got all this shit. To me, I'll burn it down the hill. I don't really even care. Honestly, I really don't care about it. You know? But and again, I like the saying from Sweet Home Alabama. Reese Witherspoon, when the father says, "Honey, you're trying to ride 2 horses with 1 ass." You know, I've never met anyone that could drive more than 1 car. You know what I mean? Listen, I drive a car. I want my friends and family to enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, upstate now is really taking precedence in my life. You know, I love it dearly, except for now the cold, because it's just getting a little bit too cold for me. So that's why I've been around lately more.
Yeah.
But upstate is a piece of heaven. You've been there, you know.
I have not been there.
You've not been there?
No, we were supposed to go.
I invited you how many times? That's right. You got sick.
Oh,
Stacy.
invite him
Sick,
somewhere.
yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
good luck.
No,
Yeah, I know.
my
You
family's
gave us
been there.
some
My
bullshit
family's
excuse.
been there.
Some bullshit
No, it's
excuse.
not
Well,
true.
we're
We
going.
never got there.
We're going.
Well, I'll go this weekend.
You're all
Okay.
invited.
We're going in
We'll
June.
go.
Listen, everyone asks me, when am I invited upstate? You're all invited upstate.
All right.
Let me ask
I'm not.
you.
I'm not
Write
asking
down-
anymore.
Write that down, Mark.
What?
And that goes for
We're going.
everybody.
Michael's
Listen,
a good
I'm going.
guest.
I'm a good
He
guest.
is-
You got to come up.
I'd love to.
You'll love it. You know.
I'd love to.
But
Scotty,
you know,
Tell me, you're 54 years old. You've lived a million lives. I'm a daydreamer. I used to daydream about this podcast years before and how I wanted it to be, and it's actually fulfilled a lot of dreams for me and hopefully a lot more.
You're welcome.
He said you're welcome. Meanwhile, at 8:59, I had to call him to see where he was because he wasn't even
hey,
here.
but he made it.
He said you're welcome
No
now.
matter as long as you made it.
That's funny. That made me laugh. What do you daydream about? What do you daydream about? What's still on the horizon for you? What do you want to make your kids happy, to make your wife happy, to make you happy? What do you daydream about?
Well, I don't want to keep daydreaming because I make it come true, and it's getting to be really a lot on me. You know what I want now? I just want less. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I'm tired of changing batteries and this and that, and trying to keep everything up and running. I just want a little less, but I do want financial security for my family. I'm not gonna lie. You know, some people say, "Oh, you're about money. You're about money." I'm not really about money. I work very hard. Excuse me. And I want my kids to not have to want, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not giving my kids, they can have everything when me and my wife are gone, all right? That's plain and simple. It's going to be. The key is to keep it all until,
Yeah.
you know, I own some real estate, and, you know, I'm trying to build my portfolio of real estate.
Yeah.
You know? We just bought our first commercial building, which is very exciting. And we do own some residential rentals. We do have an Airbnb. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying it is because, yes, we can do it. You know, as an addict, we can do anything if we put our mind to it. You know, I mean, I couldn't put together 5 seconds and 10 cents to get a pack of matches. You know, and now I'm building an empire for my family and friends, you know, to use and whatever. And that's what I want. I want for my kids, you know. I want for my kids to not have to worry for the rest of their life, because it's hard out there, man. We're all having, this is a hard time, man.
Yep.
You know, and listen, you know, my real friends know me, and I don't believe they wish for any harm in me or like, you know, and I don't think they're jealous of me. They know I work very hard.
Yeah.
You know, 5:30 in the morning, I'm up, I'm out of my house, I brush my teeth, and I'm out. I shower the night before. Don't get excited.
Yeah.
But, you know, I get out 5:30 in the morning. You know, I'm going to my yard, checking some of my trucks, checking my oils, doing what I got to do. I'm doing it, you know. You got to get up and do it, man, you know.
So it's an interesting thing, because I'm sure there are people, because everyone always looks, the grass is always greener, and people in their minds are like, yo, look at this guy, he's got this house upstate and this car and that car, yet you're the first guy that's on that fucking, cherry picker or whatever, I don't know his name, you know, all these fucking
Home wrecker.
You're on the drill bit, or you're on
the jackhammer.
Yeah, you're jackhammering away.
First guy in.
Yeah,
Don't care.
and you're in the trenches. So
100%.
I think that, you know, certainly someone who does what you do is allowed to have some toys, you know, and it's no one's business but your own, you know, and again, you're not a hoarder of these things. You are
A little bit.
but you're good to your wife, her parents. just to remind you, Mike, which I'm sure you know, but Wally is his father-in-law. You do remember that connection?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Wally and Judy, who have become, parents to you,
They are my
obviously.
parents.
Yeah, and
I love them dearly.
Yeah, and I feel the same way, and they feel the same about you, and they were excited about watching. I mean, I know that they're probably clicking buttons on their phone now, trying to figure out
They're gonna have to wait till they max
No,
the
but
show.
it's all right because Lori's going to make sure they see it, and
Yeah.
they'll love this, and they'll appreciate it. The one quote that I got from that really made me smile the most. From your wife Lori, who literally does adore you, and you guys are a fantastic, very special couple. And she told me this from the heart, and I thought it was so deep that you inspire her daily, every single day. That she and your kids are very lucky to stand by your side through everything. And what everything means, it all means, that's behind your doors. But the bottom line is 23 years living with an addict. For your kids, 19, 18, 17 years living with an addict. For those of us who are not familiar with what that's like, that comes with a lot of trials and tribulations. So I'm sure that's one of the reasons why the Advasky family unit is so powerful and so strong, and why you guys cherish each other so much.
Thank you. Like I said, listen, I love my family so much. I love my wife, and it's I don't know. Listen, I don't want to fail. It's not an option for me. And it's a problem for me.
So is that do you have a fear of failure? Is he from
No,
you?
he has a paraphilia.
Paraphilia, don't you have that?
I had that as a kid.
Man.
You got a penicillin for it, if I remember correctly.
Listen, my phone don't ring for an hour. I think I'm doing something wrong.
Isn't that something?
It's crazy.
Wow.
Because I am providing for my family. I will say that, my in-laws are awesome. They did good stuff for my kids, thank God, and I love them. I love them so much that they're in my life.
They're
and
amazing.
Listen, they're awesome people. I love you guys, if you're listening. And I did say this before in front of everybody, and they do things for my kids, which is just priceless, and I thank them for that. Listen, I just where I feel like I'm guilty is I just work so hard. Work shouldn't really be first, but without it, I can't do what I'm doing. And it's I don't like again. I grew up in a poor. I don't want to I try not to knock my
your
dad in any way.
You weren't filled with materialistic things. Let's say that.
I can only dream for a dirt bike. I can only dream for a family vacation. I can only dream. We did do vacations. I gotta say, my father did what we had to do. The guy deserves a purple medal of honor.
Yep.
His son was a raging crackhead, and he stuck with me. Come on, that's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And then he got to see his son change his life.
Yep.
And that right there is tremendous. That's what it's about.
Yep.
That's
what it's about.
And one other thing, I always say this. It's not. I always say this. It's not about the $20 I stole out of my sister's bank account or anything like that with recovery. It's about the brother that I stole from my sisters and the son that I stole from my father and the friend that I stole from my friends. That's what it's about. You know what I mean? That's what using did to me. It wasn't that the $20 here and there
right.
and the mischief that I did in the neighborhood. We're not going to go there because they'll be outside waiting for me.
They're still looking for you.
But but that's what I'm saying.
So,
in the recovery end.
Do you feel like almost every day you're trying to give that back?
100%.
From
Yep.
that's
It's making amends. It's part of recovery. It is. Listen, they say.
You mind?
Yeah, please. Tony has something to say. Go, please, Tony.
Just a quick question. Talking about the family and giving back and whatnot. I have a close family member who's had issues, and the difference from you is there were many stays in rehab. So it's sad to admit, but you get to a point where all right, he's going to rehab again, and you wonder, all right, well, how long is it going to last this time? And so it really has to kind of last a while before you can feel that trust again and feel like maybe they are past it. Did you have to, and then even rebuild again to feel that trust again? Did you have that with your family, or no? Because you only had the one time. Although you did say stealing money and stuff, so
Yeah.
I would think there probably was from their end they had to start trusting you again.
Well, I mean, that is a question that some of my family, that my two sisters, I guess, that would be left in my family, that would have to answer too. You know what I mean? But me seeing as an addict to my family, yeah, 100%. It was unbelievable. Like, as I stayed in recovery, you just, I had 30 days. I had 30 people at my 30-day key tag. Mm-hmm. No one does that. Right. This was a miracle. Like, this was a major miracle that I could stop for 30 days. When I went into the meeting, they're like, why are all these people here? I mean, I had aunts, uncles, my anniversaries, I took out 40, 50 people for dinner, family members and friends, because I had to give back. So I was, listen, I still to today, I always feel that I have to prove to you that I'm not smoking crack. That's how crazy it is. Yeah. It's a lifetime to get it. Listen, I'm an addict, bro. I'm a crackhead. I'll always be a crackhead till the day I die. I just don't use. It's something that you have to, listen, it's a day at a time. You know what I mean? And you have to, you have to prove yourself. I'm still proving myself.
I'm gonna need about $10K in cash for you to prove that.
There you go.
Do you ever allow yourself? And I know this is probably tough, and I'm sure the answer is probably no. But and I've asked this question we've had professional athletes on and TV personalities, and this is going to hit a little bit differently with you. But do you ever allow yourself to reflect all that you've done for so many people, or can you not even process it? You don't even want to touch the money. You don't even want to think about it. Like, you've accomplished a lot in these past 25 years, and you do mean a lot to many people. Do you ever take a chance just to sit back and be like, whoa, look what I've done here? Oh, you can't even do it.
100%. I mean, there's times, I hate to go back into the business end of it, but I do it all the time. Like, I'll just walk out of my house upstate and just walk in the middle of the field and just be like, thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Deep.
Like,
that's cool.
Listen, I'll look
That's
at,
cool.
When my trucks are lined up in my yard. Like, honestly, I'll get so emotional.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, holy shit. Like,
yeah.
I did it. And again, it's not about materialistic things, and then look, I have a family, man. My kids are doing great.
Yes.
I have, I have things to be proud of, most of all myself, dude, this is let me tell you, man, February 10th, 2000 is my clean date. That's my winning lottery number, you know? I mean, you can't pay for what I got. You know what I'm saying? You can't pay for this. You got to want it, And going back to what he said real quick, it's like, give us a chance, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, any addict seeking recovery could recover. You got to help them, not financially, but you got to support an addict.
Yeah.
With love. And, you have to bring them, you have to make them go to meetings. Drop them off at the meeting, Don't give them money. Don't give them money for anything. Just you need help, go to a meeting. You want a sandwich? Here's a sandwich. And watch them eat it, because I'll sell that sandwich and go buy crack.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you think the February 9th, 2000 was your last dirty day?
Yep.
February 11th, 2025. February 9th, 2020, nobody wanted to be around you.
Yep.
February 11th, 2025, people always want to be around you now.
You're on the Herschy and the Keegs show.
And
Sick.
Think about that.
Never would have thought that. Holy shit.
Nobody then, people are like, I don't want to be around that fucking guy. He's doing drugs. He's doing this. He stole my fucking this or that.
Yep.
And now, fast forward to Sunday, and people are at your house, and you're fucking coming in with chafing dishes of wings, and everyone wants to be around Scotty. And so that right there, forget about the fucking cars and the house or whatever. The fact that you were that guy and now you're this guy.
Yep.
Like, is that just the best?
It's remarkable, and it can be done. You know, we can do it. Listen, addicts are very smart people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Don't
the
get me
smartest.
wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like what I had to do to get drugs, you wouldn't
have
believe.
to be a
Yeah.
Listen, I smoked $500 in crack a day. All right, you figure out the numbers.
Yeah.
All right. No matter what I did, I
have.
had to get it. Whether it was stealing, working hard, whatever it was. That's the guy that you have sitting in your room right now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I did what it took to get high. I don't even do an eighth of that effort to this life. It's the truth.
Yeah.
It took me longer to sit at a payphone because we had payphones back then. A few people even know what that is.
Yeah.
But I used to sit at payphones for hours waiting for crack. I drove a bicycle on the Southern State Parkway one night to Nassau Road in Uniondale to get a 50 piece of crack with $32 in the snow on a bicycle with a flat. All right? That's harder
Absolutely.
than what I do every day now.
Yeah.
To get up and live my life. That's how sick we are.
That's like a Shane.
It's unbelievable.
Shane Gillis has a bit. He's just like, his sister's a heroin addict, and she's just like, she's just every day she wakes up. You're on a mission. You know, you're on a quest.
Full-time job.
You're on a quest,
It's a
and
full-time, unpaid job.
Like people think heroin addicts are lazy. No, they're the most ambitious
Right.
people you'll ever
So
meet in
it's
your life.
interesting.
They'll do anything.
Exactly.
Like, you know, people go to like Dale Carnegie training to become wealthy.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, you know, if Scott spoke in front of a room of business tycoons, he'd explain to them that the way he became successful is by being a crackhead. Essentially, you were able to steal, beg, borrow, cheat, which
Get high every day, no matter what.
a harder effort than you're putting in now as a
Right.
successful owner of multiple businesses and homes, which is crazy.
So anyone that's listening that's struggling, you can do it.
Yeah.
You just you can do it. Because if I could do it, you could do it. I don't give a shit. You know, everyone says, "Oh, not me," and I did it this way, and I did this guy, and that stole this at the bank. I heard all the stories. I don't give a shit. I was a bad, bad, bad kid. I was misdirected. I changed my life. You could do it too. You gotta want it. It's that simple. I was sitting at my brand new building. Not a brand new building. I bought an old building that I used to get my tires fixed at over 35 years ago when I was getting high. I used to get my truck tires fixed. And I bought that building recently in the last month.
Wow.
I sat at the gate. I put in a new fence. I'm rebuilding the building. I'm making it beautiful. The guy that I know that owned the building back in the day passed away, and I'm sure he's looking down at me, and he's really proud. He always used to yell at me because I had chrome on my tires. He used to yell at me and say, "Chrome don't get you home." But what I want to say is, so I'm standing in my yard the other day, and I'm looking across the street at a building, and it was called Manhattan Beer Distributors. And I'm going to tell you just a very quick story on this. 27 years ago, roughly, okay, when I was using, because I used to ride my bicycle to Wine Dance, right where that building was. But anyway, I got a job from a roofing company. Manhattan Beer Distributors just bought the building across the street from the building that I bought just now. It's now Manhattan Beer Distributors.
Holy shit.
They asked me to go up there and test out an air conditioning unit to see if I could get it off. And they had about 50 of them on the roof. So they brought me up there on a Wednesday, say the first week of the month. I think they came back the last Wednesday of the month, and I was still up there ripping out all the copper and radiators and cutting pieces out and throwing them in a minivan with no license, no registration, no insurance, and bringing it into the aluminum and scrap yard and going to smoke crack.
Yeah. Wow.
So I just had that. I just sat at my building and looked across, which I could even show you on my camera. I'll show you the building because I had the camera lit up yesterday. And you see that building. It's awesome memory of where I was
Right.
to where I am. Now I'm on it's the other side of the tracks.
It's as full circle as you're
It's
going to get.
unbelievable. But I was looking at that building. I said, remember where I was just freaking up? I mean, just up there 27 years ago, whatever it was, 26
wild.
years ago.
Yeah.
Stealing copper to get high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now I
Yeah.
own a building across from that.
Yeah, the symbolism. with that
And it's just awesome, man. You know, like, I am so lucky, man.
Are you proud of yourself, Scott?
I'm so proud of myself. You know, I really am.
So you do
there's
allow
not a
yourself.
better fan than me.
You
know?
do allow yourself to because sometimes people
I walk around like Superman, dude.
That's
you know,
good.
Other than health, which we all got to help ourselves. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not saying we as in this room, but
Yeah.
everyone really needs to be more healthy, and I really do. And you know, I really. Here's the quick story in a nutshell. What happens is you're in recovery, everything's good, you think you're cured. We're never cured. You really still have to be in program. You still have to go to meetings. It's a great place. So I forget sometimes. I take off for a while. I took off for 2 years. Never used. Went back. Went crazy. Celebrated again. Now I took off again. But when I'm in those meetings and I'm helping people, because I need to give back what was so freely given to me, I am a better person for that. All around.
And it's
know what I'm saying?
It's definitely a calling for you.
Yeah.
And
it's if it wasn't for, I'm telling you right now, if it wasn't for the lifestyle that I like to lead, because I do like toys and I like fun and I like helping people, I like having fun with people. If it wasn't for that, I would be in the jail as a drug counselor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would love to open up a program, see children overcome tough times. What does that stand for? Scott.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
see criminals overcome tough times. Listen,
he
I'm
could have
all
given me
about it.
an hour. I wouldn't have figured that out.
Right?
I was like,
But listen,
I'll fill
listen.
you in
I've spoken every single jail from here to Brooklyn and back to Montauk. I've spoken every single rehab, back and forth everywhere. All kinds of meetings, anniversaries. It's a great program. If you need help, please go get yourself help. Insist that your kid goes to a meeting every single day if he's having a problem. Don't take no for an answer.
So, and I'm going to piggyback that. For anyone who's watching, if your kid, if anyone's having any issue at all, and your comfort level is to reach out to me or to Mikey or to Tony, depending on who you contact, or obviously or Scott directly, please reach out to us because Scott is a great resource and he has great resources. Yeah, he has great resources and meetings and obviously we've spent an hour. We could have spent 10 hours with Scott. I mean, he's been so gracious and honest with us. And listen, certainly as someone who is a very big fan of yours and your family, I love you very much. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the 25 years. I look forward to being with you for your next 25 years and beyond. And on behalf of myself and Tony and Mike, we are extremely thankful and appreciative that you spent this time with us tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. That was awesome.
I'm extremely thankful to you guys. I really am. I'm honored actually. To be honest with you,
You're
This
very
is awesome.
welcome.
And I really am, man. And you've been awesome to me. My whole, our whole child's life, and been friends with us, whatever. And I always, always respected you. You always done the right thing by a lot of family. You do a lot, man. You do way more than I do.
Nah.
You're the best mother I know.
That's good. I appreciate it.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Funny. Keith
all right,
Anthony,
boys.
before we go, Keith Anthony has one of my favorite.
Is it not about
He
me?
does. It's not about you.
You have something to say about me?
No. Keith Anthony's, one of his things he says on stage, he just goes, people always say, I have 250 days sober. He goes, that's great, but I want to know what happened 251 days ago.
That's so true. All right, Mikey, before we go, I know you got a lot coming up. You've been busy as shit.
Yeah.
Next week we're going to I don't know if we're going to be we might have Todd Zeal from the Mets Yankees on with us next week. I'm not sure yet. If not, we haven't had a show together, just us.
Yeah.
So we need to talk about, you've been busy, you've been getting big gigs. What do you have coming up before we leave?
Tomorrow night I'll be at Bonita, and it's a Mexican place in Rocky Point.
Okay.
It'll be a lot of fun. Great food there. Great show. And then Friday night I'll be at Pinino Rustico in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. It's actually my dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Dad.
Mike Keegan, happy birthday, sir.
So we're all going there. We're doing a show there. Patty Ross Bros headlining, but they're having a Valentine's Day show there. And then Saturday night I will be at the Canoe Palace in Hampton Bays with our buddy Brian Kennedy.
Oh, geez, that's right. I got you that gig.
Yeah,
There you go.
thanks for getting me that gig. Mike.
Awesome. And before we turn to Tony, I just want to apologize in advance for all of the coughing that you heard. We all have sickle cell anemia.
I'm the only one that's not sick. I'm going to be so
You are
fucking
now.
sick tomorrow. I know.
Tony, what do you have going on with Knock 'em Dead Comedy and the Magical Mystery Tour? What do you have going on?
This Friday at the Islip Terrace Fire Department. Come on out for a fun audience interactive murder mystery show.
Oh,
It's a great room. I
coming
just
up?
did a show there. That's a great room.
Yeah, we've been. It is a great place, and firehouses are always fun.
I did one of my first paid comedy gigs in that room.
Oh, nice.
And it's one of the best rooms.
Yep.
I don't know if it's just that house, the members, but they are a gracious.
Yes, they are.
They are involved. They will laugh even if you're not funny, and I'm sure I wasn't 13 years ago. But I got the reaction like I was Henny Youngman in my prime when I did that room. So
Yeah.
I wish the same for you.
Thank you, pal.
And again, for any new viewers, we appreciate you watching. We hope you follow us. And I guess the most important message is, again, if you're out there and you're struggling or you know someone who is and you think that Scott can help you, please do not hesitate to reach out. If this episode can change one person's life, it is certainly all worth it. So we appreciate you. Thank you. Happy anniversary to Scott. We wish you a million more years of good health and happiness. And thank you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you, and thank you, Scott. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, Mike. Awesome.